Okay, so here we are at our week 6 JavaScript free code camp next 25 sections. So what you need to be doing right now, and there's not going to be as many notes this time, but go ahead and bring up your notes.md markdown file. And these are just the things I'm going to cover, so just FYI. And so just take a few notes here. So the one thing is last week, and I went ahead and included the video down here in case you missed it. Not last week, but week 4, right? So because we every other week do Java's free code camp. I had posted this just a little bit late, and I think a few of you hadn't caught the video where you fixed the escape sequences. So make sure, because this week I'm going to check all of the past items that you've submitted for free code camp. So make sure you have fixed that. So I'm going to, when I grade this week's items, I'm going to be grading it for two things actually. And you'll see this in my next comment, is implementing whatever design you've chosen. And then actually right here, and do note this in your notes, like some of you implemented the one I chose with the grid, and that wasn't the idea. I chose that because I wanted to extend my knowledge about CSS grid, and so I found something and then I studied it to make sure I understood it. But the idea was that I wanted you to go out and find or design from scratch, because even if you choose somebody else's starting point, you really have to own that, meaning you have to understand it in order for you to modify it. And so if you've done my version, that's not the idea. The idea is, and I'm giving you some, and sometimes that's hard, so I'm giving you some creative license here. And really, it's the idea of taking your skill in the front end and flexing it a little bit, right? But so I'm going to show you what I did, and it's a work in progress. I'm not happy with it, but at least it extends it. It extends the idea. And so what I ended up doing is I left my CSS file and my root, and then in my JavaScript, so like for this week, so for the JavaScript Challenges 3, I then linked that file again, because I'm running my server right from the root. In this case, it just references that file out on the root. So the idea is actually you have one CSS file for your design, and the way I accomplish the different look, and let me just show it to you, right? So again, this is just mine. I want you to do this on your own. So this is the way I had done the root index file. And then I decided for the subpages, I just created a grid class, and then I applied it to, instead of where I had main before, I applied this new class. Now, this actually, I'm still want to play with this. I think I'd like to have these stacked on top of each other and take up that side of the page. Shouldn't be too hard. I'm pretty much there. But I like the way this laid out. It was kind of nice. Wasn't the nicest thing in the world, but you can see how this looks here, and I ended up adding, and on the I added a background color of white. Okay, so what you'll need to do here is implement that for, at least this time, all of your three. So three so far free code camp items. Okay, so that's, again, please do this in a way that is, your, and again, it doesn't have to be that it's yours. It has to be something that you're willing to spend the time to figure out so that you can modify it to your own desire, right? So that's really the idea there. So those are the two things that I want you to make sure you have done. So make sure you fixed, when I look at the file, make sure you fix those issues. Again, refer to next week. If you've already done it, no need. Implement your design into all your JS challenges files so far, and really make sure you update that root. Root meaning your index file here, right? Because that's what I do. As I've showed you before, how when I grade your work, what I'm doing is I'm actually bringing up your subdirectory, running browser sync, and then running your server to see then if you have everything working from here. And then I go actually look at the code from there. But that's the stages that I take when I'm doing it. Okay, so this week marks also a really important week in our class. And this is the next thing I'm working on is I'll be working on creating some content for the Develop One, which is this week. And then my hope is actually by the end of, maybe even by the end of tomorrow, which I'm recording this in week 5, is that I have this one and possibly over the weekend completing here. Right, so that's my hope, that's my goal. We'll see if I make it. Okay, because oh, these are the wrong ones, but that's the one I'm going to publish right now, because this is something you need to be thinking about. And when I say this, meaning the Develop One, right? Because these are worth more in our class. I've said that before, but really, it's like you're learning these skills, and now you're actually taking them on the road and seeing how well you were able to integrate those. So that's why these are so important, both from the grade and from the how well did you translate the material so far. So that's my next thing I'll be working on. Have a great one. Talk to you later.